We will call this meeting to order. Regular city council meeting, city of Dalhart, Monday, March 27th, 2023. Mayor Parker, would you lead us in prayer, please?
Lord, thank you for letting us be able to gather here today. I pray that we make wise and informed decisions for the city and citizens, Lord. I pray that you're with all the first responders and all the endeavors they face throughout the week, Lord. I pray for rain first and foremost, just to replenish this barren land. I pray that you're with us all, though, as we go throughout our weeks and we can keep our eyes on you. In your name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Please stand as we recite the pledge to the United States and Texas flags. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor
Honor
the
the
Texas
flag.
flag.
I pledge allegiance to the United States, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
First item on the agenda is a consent agenda consisting of minutes from the March 13th, 2023 regular city council meeting and committees and boards appointments.
Make a motion to accept the consent agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item number one, public comments. Item number two, discuss and or act upon vacancies for city boards and commissions. Blaine, would you lead this for me, please, sir?
Okay. We're in an exciting time in the city of Dalhart right now. And we would like to reach out to the public in relationship to our boards and committees that are in place. But we could use a lot of help on directing the way that the city goes. And we have the opportunity, if you would volunteer to be on one of the boards or committees, that you could have a large impact upon the things that are going on in the future. I'll give you an example of three of our boards. We have approximately 11 boards and committees in place. Some of them you have to have credentials to be on those, but some of the primary ones, the top three primary ones that we look at is I would like to address the Planning and Zoning Commission. And the Planning and Zoning Commission is a very intricate committee for us. And if we do all of the things that they can do in their position, and I will give you a reading of those. One is make, amend, extend, and add to the comprehensive plan for the physical development of the city. Two, approve or disapprove the platting or subdividing of land within the corporate limits of the city within adjacent areas as permitted by law. Three, recommend to the city council or to the council approval or disapproval of proposed changes in the zoning districts and or this chapter. Okay, four, recommend to the council approval, disapproval of requests for street names, changes and thoroughfare closures within the city, corporate limits of the city. Submit annually to the city manager, not less than 90 days prior to the beginning of the budget year, a list of recommended capital improvements, if any, which in the opinion of the commission are necessary and desirable during the forthcoming 5-year period. And in that point there, okay, then we'll have the recommend to the city council, the approval or disapproval of plans for slum clearance, public housing, and urban redevelopment and renewal projects. And then we have also the perform additional duties and exercise additional powers that may be prescribed by the ordinance not inconsistent with revisions of the city. You can see all of the impact that the Planning and Zoning Commission can have on the direction that the population would like to proceed with the city. The second one is what we call the Board of Adjustment and Appeals. And what they do is help direct and correct or guide and decisions of the city. One of them is under that would be the issues of variances. That is to authorize upon appeal specific changes in the variance of the terms of the chapter which not be contrary to the public interest. Okay, so if we have an issue that comes up, the Board of Adjustment and Appeals, they can look at that and give a variance that might help facilitate improvements in the city. The other one is they have the administrative review. So the Board of Appeals is the one that reviews the actions of the city. And if so protested, they can make an opinion themselves. So there's another one that can direct the full direction the city wants to go. And then we have the Dalhart Economic Development Corporation. And under that one it is, they are primarily, and the purpose of them is, and it specifically is to help the economic situation of the city and doing projects that could comply to the growth of our town. So when you sit on that board, you can make a decision that we can help do improvements, and a lot of things that will come into place on the operation for public welfare. So that's just about the three topics. We have several other ones, which is just in compliance of the state laws and that sort of thing. So what we're asking for at this time is if we could reach out to the public to contact the city. We can do it by electronically or come down and get an application to show your desire to serve on a board or committee. And it will give us a pool. And now in that respect, then we get the selection committees can look at those and not put you in another spot than what you want to do, but we're all open for that. But we'd like to have city input and get on the board's committee and do an application. That would just help us to go further in our time frame. Is that good, Jeff?
That's great.
Okay.
So yeah, anybody that's willing to volunteer or knows somebody that would step up and volunteer for one of these boards would be greatly appreciated. We're going to go back to item number 1. I noticed Barbie came in on public comments. Barbie, if you, we're not really allowed to engage with you, but
Understand.
we'd love to hear your comments.
Thanks. I'm Barbie Walker. I'm the director at Legacy Assisted Living. And about a year ago, the city put in a crosswalk from Legacy to the nursing home, which has completely changed our lives for the good. We have several residents that go back and forth, have friends at the nursing home. And so they just plowed right through that center median. And so there's a really nice crosswalk. It's angled. It goes directly across. So thank you for doing that. That has been huge. However, we currently have an issue of the drivers in the city of Dalhart. Do not slow down. There are signs that the city put up. I believe they say, slow down, elderly crossing, and no one is slowing down. I've been out there pushing residents across the street multiple times. I'm like, we're about to get hit by a car because no one is slowing down here. Thought about and talked to a few people about what would be the possibilities. We just need to put more signs up, but they're not seeing the existing signs. So I don't know if they're even going to see a sign. Hoping you would consider speed bumps, or if they're going to plow through there, at least they're going to tear up their car or something. And I really don't want to go to jail for having my pile of rocks that I'm about to start throwing at cars. If I have residents going across back and forth and no one is slowing down for them. So I'm just trying to figure out a solution to that problem. So what I'm requesting is that you would consider putting that issue on a future agenda.
Thank you, Barbie.
Thank you.
Item number 3, discuss and or act upon approving. Do we need to act on item number 2? No, we just discuss it. Discuss and or act upon approving the request for the use of the lake area for the July 4th fireworks display sponsored by Rotary Club of Dalhart.
And you're just approving that they can use that area for fireworks.
Okay. And I found Alfonso came and spoke with us at
Last
the last meeting about that.
Make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item number 4, presentation by a dog story volunteer group at the animal shelter. Girls.
They also have a PowerPoint.
What we was all looking at. Oh, it's like one of those.
Be shy, stay above.
Worker Emily, you can have the.
This will move you forward and that'll move you back.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Perfect. Okay, so this is kind of our presentation. We are college students finishing up our last semester with Frank Phillips College. And in one of our classes, Learning Framework with Christy Doble, we had to do a service learning project. The service learning project isn't like community service where you go out and you just donate to some sort of group. It's actually spending hours, countless hours interacting with something in the community that we believe lacks. And after we've kind of discussed for a couple class sessions, we've decided that the animal control facility is our go-to. And we want to thank Quint first and foremost for helping us out and getting us in the right foots. So we've kind of titled our group A Dog Story. I'm Faith Feller, Adriana Quillen,
Addison Anderson, Emily Herrera.
and we're going to kind of introduce to you guys who we are and how we started, and we would like to propose something to you all at the end. So here's our table of contents. We're each going to kind of tell you our why as to why we chose to work with the animal control facility, and then the dog story of the dogs that we have seen and interacted within our 3 weeks of being at the animal control facility. And then the interview with Clint Brown, which I'm sure all of you are familiar with the information. If not, we can kind of refresh you on that. And then what we hope for in the future.
Okay, so my name's Addison. Like I said, I'm an absolute dog lover. We'll have all the pets we can within the city coordinates that allows us. So those are my furry friends up there. The big bulldog is Millie. The horse is Shotgun. The weird looking one with the blue eyes is Sadie. That's my dog. And then we have Raider and then the big golden doodle Milo. So Sadie and Raider were rescues, as was Milo. We found him on Facebook and he was already in his 4th home as a puppy. He had just too much energy and we're a high energy family, so he kind of fit in. But yeah, I'm an animal lover and I just think it's the right thing to do, to adopt and not shop.
So here's my story. I started with a quote on my slide because I feel like a quote kind of speaks value sometimes. It says, "The dog is the only thing on earth that loves you more than you love yourself." And that's by Josh Billings. I firmly believe that because no matter how poor you treat an animal or a dog, that dog is going to think the world of you. So those are my lovely children, I guess you could call them. The top one's my Chihuahua. She's the oldest. That's Millie. She was rescued off of Facebook Marketplace. The bottom one, hate to say it, I did pay quite a bit of money for her. She's Barkley. She's our wiener dog. And then the one, I don't know which direction it is for y'all. On the right, that's Bo. He was also rescued out of Amarillo off of Facebook Marketplace. And then the one on the left is Roscoe. And we actually are in the process of adopting him from our facility here.
So I'm not a dog lover, as I said in our city council meeting. We just didn't grow up with dogs. So my Daisy, man, she's, I think 11, and my child loves her. She's like, well, we want dogs. We want dogs. No, sis, we're not gonna have dogs. So me going in there, not being a dog lover, it's hard to see them in that way in the facility that we are, because this is a kill facility. So we want to, a future thing is to get them adopted or send them off for them to be adopted elsewhere.
So I'm Emily, and I also had a quote like Faith, "You're giving a rescue an opportunity to find their voice," because, sorry, I'm very nervous right now. So, up there with my face in the picture is Zoe. And then at the bottom is Layla. I have no rescue dogs. So I do this because I love animals. And if I could too, I would take all the animals that I find in the street with me, but my mom doesn't let me. And I mean, working with Quint also, I want to take every single one of them with me. I cry in there whenever I see their sign. They're up to be euthanized, and I hate that. I wish we could do something about that, but there's not much you can do when no one wants to adopt an animal here, so.
Okay, sorry. So just kind of talking about what we've seen, it's a high demand facility with a number of high strays that we have, or strays that we have running around here. Not very many people know that they need to be spaying and neutering their animal. And they get out and they reproduce, and we're stuck with lovely little animals running around. Talking with Quint in our interview, we believe it is a low financial budget. So as a dog story group, we kind of want to help find ways to make the facility a little bit better by bringing in a little more financial support.
So there are multiple different ways you can help. You can foster a dog. You don't have to adopt them, but getting them out of the shelter allows them to have more time to be adopted and be seen by other families. You can minimize breeding, like Faith said, by spaying and neutering. You can adopt if you would love to have a furry friend. They're all great. You can donate toys, treats, food, beds, blankets, anything will help. And then community service, just going out there and allowing the dogs to have more one-on-one personal experience with people, because some of those dogs do come in there and they're terrified and they don't like humans. So just going out there and loving on them a couple days a week or even once a week is really helpful. Okay, so we're gonna go through the dog stories. There's quite a lot of them, so just bear with us. So the first one is Sully. He was one of the younger ones when we first showed up. I instantly fell in love with him. His sweet brown eyes just kind of drew me in, and I knew I had to get him in my family some way. He was super shy at first, and his story actually is, in person, you can see marks on his nose. He was shot up with drugs. So as much as he's gone through in his past, he is such a loving dog. My brother got a new house with his hopefully soon to be fiance and actually adopted him and named him Cabo. And he's just the sweetest thing in the world. And watching his personality come out has been so great. The next one is Ranger. He was right next to Sully, and I also fell in love with him. Safe to say I fell in love with all of them. We believe he was used kind of as bait in a dog fighting area. So he has some marks on his side that are kind of sensitive to him. He's actually been transferred out to a bigger facility to hopefully get adopted, but he was super shy, but so sweet and just wanted to be loved. If you stop petting him, he was just looking up at you, and he was such a sweet dog. We thought he needed to be an only dog just because of his past, but I don't know if he's still in the facility or not. We'll have to figure that out, but he's also great. And then this is Otis. He is a huge dog with a huge heart. He doesn't look as big as he is in that picture, but he is ginormous. He's an old man, and when he gets excited, he hops on his front toes and does a little dance for you. But he's super dog friendly, super human friendly. He's also been transferred out. He was picked up with another dog that we'll talk about, Willow, and they were found in a dumpster trying to get food. So if that just speaks to his funny personality, he is super funny, but he was super sweet as well. Okay. So this is Willow, and all the dogs are sweet, so get out of that. Oh my God, I'm sorry. Don't be nervous, you're good. Yeah. I don't really know what Willow's background story was. She was found. Yeah, she was with Otis as well. She always wants, whenever you give her attention, she wants more. I mean, if you took your eyes off of her, she'd come back and she'd, look at you the same way all the other dogs do. Like, why'd you quit cuddling me, She's super timid, and I love that about her, because I'm really scared when dogs are over. I don't know how to say that, over exaggerated. Yeah, so she's perfect. She's super sweet and calm, and that actually helps me feel calm. And she's not bowl sensitive, so no. Oh, no. She's not bowl sensitive. So you could have her in a house with a bunch of dogs and she'll share and be nice. So. It's Mary. Yeah, please. Okay. This is Texas. He is a country dog through and through. He's a healer mix. He has the most beautiful tail in the world. I've never seen a dog with a marking like that. As well as Willow, he's been transferred out as well. So he's in a bigger facility so he can be adopted. He was super playful, definitely needs to be a country dog out in the open where he can run and get his energy out. But like Emily said, they're all just sweet. They all just want some loves. And so he was a great dog as well. And then this is Grace. We had her a little bit longer and we still actually have her now. She's being fostered right now. When we first went in, she kind of barked at us. We were like, maybe she's gonna have some problems, but she really just wanted love. And she is the sweetest. Faith worked with her a lot, taking her on walks, getting to know her. She got adopted and a couple days later, they brought her back. They said, we don't have the means to take care of her. And then come to find out she was pregnant. So she's in a foster right now. Has she had her puppies yet?
I think so.
So she is about to be a mama, soon to be a mama, but she is just the sweetest thing in the world. Like, she's not high energy, just wants to be loved, but she's a sweetheart as well.
This is Lady. This is our, I wouldn't call her our trouble dog, but she's definitely one that we cannot crack. I think maybe a little more time with her, we would be able to crack her shell and get to see her personality. She's very, very, very scared. When we first met her, we went in with the bite gloves because our job was to interact with the dogs, get to know the dogs, help them get adopted and find a home. Towards the last of her days at the pound before she was transferred out, we could actually pick her up with our bare hands and actually pet her. So she was very shy, loved to lay under her blanket, but I think once somebody gets a hold of her and cracks open her shell, she'll be a great dog.
She would always have her head turned too. Whenever we would have her, she was like, don't look at me. Very iffy, like, don't touch me, put me back down. And towards the end, like she said, she actually like could look at you calmer, wasn't shaking as bad. And it was pretty great to see her.
This is Roscoe, the one that I adopted. He's a mess, let me just say that. Very smart dog. His story, I'm sure some of you guys are familiar with the arrest that was made with the man who beat the other man in Logan. That was his previous owner. He was just a scared pup when he came in. He's the most obnoxious one. Don't know why I brought him home. He's still obnoxious, but I love him. But he's very smart. Growing, very smart dog. So this is Roxy. Roxy is one of the newer ones that we got in. The previous few that we have showed you were the ones when we first started that were actually there. Now we're left with 2 dogs that we've seen a couple come in and out, but 2 of them are actually still there today. This is Roxy. She is a pit mix. She's very smart. I've spent a lot of time with her. She understands the human and pet dominance that you are not the boss. I am the boss. As a human, I like to take control over my pets to make sure that they understand who's in control, and she understands that. She actually will follow me around the facility without a leash on or anything, and she uses her nose to kind of make sure that she's still in line with me. And she's learned how to sit off of commands with a little bit of treats. You know, you got to brand the dog every once in a while. So she's a very great dog, and I think she also does need to be in an area with a backyard to run and play, but I think she's going to be a great dog with kids too. Oh, I messed up on that one. This is Luna. Sorry. I don't know why it says bear, but she's a lost pup. And she was actually adopted. She's actually currently being adopted right now in the process of adoption. She loves cuddles, loves pets, just an attention seeker through and through. And then Rain, this one is the second dog that's still in the facility. She's kind of the same thing, wants attention. I mean, she followed Addison around, just yelping, looking for all the attention that she could get while we were there,
So we're gonna go over like our interview. You all know who Quint Brown is. Y'all can do the interview. I wasn't there, so.
So pretty much, I mean, that was our slide to just kind of brag on Quint, and we wanted to thank him and let him know that he's doing a phenomenal job just from seeing it outside in. I don't know what his superior thinks of him, but I think he's doing a fabulous job. He's answered questions and giving us an insight as to who he really is. Like when we went in, we kind of thought, you know, your animal control personnel is just somebody that's just there to collect a paycheck and nothing more than that. Doesn't really care. I mean, brings money home for the family, but after our interview with him, I mean, I walked out of there crying and I was teared up just by the process of how he handles a situation during a euthanization state when he has to euthanize a dog. The steps that he takes to that. the time that he does euthanize, just all in general. Thank you, Clint. You're amazing.
And even the smallest things, like it comes down to, he plays music 24/7 there, so the dogs hear something, so they're not sitting in an empty, quiet place where they don't know. Like, it's music all the time. We had 2 female dogs in there and he was playing hardcore rock, so I don't know if that was their favorite kind of music, but that's what was on their. That's what they got, but.
He also checks on them 2 to 3 times a day, so you know, they're not just locked up in there all day alone.
So we just did you know, for our college class, we can read through them really fast, just questions that a lot of people don't know about dog shelters in general or animal control facilities. The first one is, what is the most common reason for picking up a dog? We weren't given a specific answer, but it's usually like kids get puppies, they don't take care of them and they're just left outside. Or like they said, just repopulation to the max. Bad behavior type things, like they just let them out and just don't care to see what's going on. So that's the main reason. What is the busiest time of the year? It's usually during the winter times and right after Christmas, which kind of makes sense. Kids get puppies for Christmas, then don't take care of them and they're left outside. And they get out and parents don't really care because they don't want to take care of the dog. Sorry, I'm blind. Is the dog's facility still open? Y'all probably know, but the dog's facility is closed. So the only animal control facility we have right now is this one. Sorry, I'm so blind. What neighborhood is currently the worst? It's usually on the north side as of right now, is just where most of the dogs are picked up. But I mean, they're picked up all over town. It's not just the north side, but that's the main area.
How many dogs does?
Oh, how many days does the dog have before being euthanized? I think it is, what does it say?
It's 60. Thank you.
Thank you for
To
that.
getting it changed. Giving them some extra time.
What is the most common reason for euthanization? Oh, there's just no reason to it.
We have no room. They fill up and there's just no room. I mean, we can only transfer out so many dogs. We can only get so many people to adopt them. And there's just no room for them. And then how often do they have human interaction? Like we said, at least 2 to 3 times a day. And then we go up there on our free time when we can and interact with the dogs that are up there. Donations we're taking right now. We made a Facebook page to go along with our project and it's actually doing pretty good right now. We have a lot of people from the community donating food or treats or blankets. Most of the food comes from Tractor Supply, just any food, any bags that come in that are damaged and they can't sell, they donate to the facility. And then Good Samaritan for blankets, leashes, toys, and then other materials. There is an Amazon wish list if y'all want to donate, but that's where they get most of their stuff.
Sorry. This was, like we said, this is all of our college projects, but this is just showing from before Clint Brown came in, how many were euthanized versus adopted. This is actually what his numbers look like in previous years. I think we looked back in 1 year, there was 267 dogs euthanized in 1 year. Versus I think 37 that are up on the screen right now. So it's a big progress as to what's going on with Clint and how great he is.
Then we just kind of went over benefits of owning a dog. I bet a lot of y'all own dogs. They get you out and get you physically active. Like Faith said, they love you to death. It doesn't matter if you leave the house to get the mail, when you come back, they're just so excited to see you. And less stress. They do really help with your mental health. That's what my dog is. She's there for me whenever I need her to, and she just knows what to do. And like I said, they keep you active and keep you on your toes for sure.
So our future, I cannot see that far. I want to see a huge decrease in the amount of dogs, stray dogs. I also want to see the decrease in the shopping for the dogs instead of like going out and adopting them from the facility as well.
Like we said, we made a Facebook page. I would love to see the page grow and more volunteers to be added. It would be great because I'm going off to college soon. And so it's stuff like that where more volunteers would definitely help the page keep going and the facility to improve.
I want this to be more than just a project, something that we make a change in the city and for the dogs. And I also want our Facebook page to grow pretty big. We want something big out of this.
And then, it's basically pretty much what I'm saying. It's the same thing. I want to see the adoption and fostering rates go up while the euthanization go down. So this is what our Facebook page looks like. And where it says reach, the second image on the bottom is actually what it looks like. Keeping in mind that this is only on a 28-day activity period as to what it's providing us right now. So our page has reached 10.7 thousand people. So, that's just speaking how much within 28 days, our page has gone a long ways. And now this is where we ask you guys to approve something for us. We are looking at wanting to bring in a dog park. Reason being is I feel that interacting with the dog, keeping them kind of inside is very isolated, especially for the bigger dogs. I think outdoor activity is really important for these dogs. We are asking that you guys allow us to find the donations, collect the funds. We're looking at a roughly $5,000 to $6,000 for all materials, which we would do the donation or the gathering of donations on our end. We're just asking for approval to put in a dog park next to the facility on city ground.
If you want to go look, there's flags up out there where you can actually see kind of how it's going set.
And it wouldn't actually be the black fencing up. It would just be more of a chain link fence, 5-foot chain link fence. The cheaper, the better, just something for the dogs to go out and interact. Roxy, she likes to run, and putting her on a leash just by myself out there, sometimes it kind of worries me that leash might snap on me. And then we brought in a stray dog and now we have another stray dog out there, and I don't want that. So I'd rather be able to play fetch with them or let them run around and just interact with each other or anything, just having that sunshine on them. And they would not be outside without one of us being there. That's for our safety, their safety, and other people's safety as well.
And then this is just our contact information. It was more for our college fellow classmates if they wanted or were interested in adopting or fostering, but if you want to give us a call, go right ahead. This has actually helped. I've had a lot of people tell me, they call me, they're like, who do we call? We have when was it, Sunday? I told Faith that someone called me that there was a mom dumped and she had all her puppies everywhere. And some of the puppies were hurt. One had a hurt eye, the other one had a hurt lip. And I just told her, you were closed on weekends, right? Just to call the police department. Now, I've had a lot of people contact me.
Yeah, so the Facebook page has definitely helped with. Even like my teachers at school, I'm still a senior in high school. So, I got teachers giving us just small donations, and anything really helps at all. So, yeah, and that's a dog story.
Do y'all have any questions for us?
I think you're bringing a lot of awareness to the issue, and I think that's great, and we appreciate what you guys are doing for sure.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Appreciate y'all.
We have more fun presentations like that.
Yeah.
Item number 6, discuss and/or act upon Parks Committee recommendations of swimming pool equipment. We skip 5? Need to vote on 5?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Entertain a motion to,
I think you need to open it and then. So we haven't even opened 5. They just did their presentation.
okay. Item number 5, discuss and/or act upon the creation of dog park at the animal shelter. Thank you.
I think it's a no-brainer. I think it's something be excellent. I'm a big dog lover. And I make the motion that we approve the area for them to put up a dog run and pins.
I'll second.
All in favor? Any opposed?
There you go, ladies. There you go.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you all very much. Item number 6, discuss and/or act upon Parks Committee recommendations of swimming pool equipment.
So, the Parks Committee met and was presented with some possible slides for the swimming pool. There are Do we have the pricing yet or?
So right now it ranges from 55,000 to 65,000.
So right now, the pricing that we've seen is one slide for 55,000. A slide with two slides is 65,000, in my opinion. This would be a great addition to our pool. In the past, we haven't given a whole lot of attention to our parks, our pool, or anything, and I think that this would be a great addition to our pool. So I think Ginger also has some things to say.
It's good. Of course, I always do when it comes to this kind of stuff. Well, when we met, I had said, how can we overlook this area that we have, it has been very neglected. And one of the biggest issues that I think that we see with it is we have done a lot of deferring the maintenance on our parks. They haven't seen any improvements in a really long time. Part of the pool promise was that we would have some sort of nicer equipment that would eventually go onto that pool. So a lot of us do remember part of that promise to it. The other things, besides just the economic value that it does add to our local area, as we're growing and as we're bringing in new businesses, some of that money that can go towards these particular projects, but especially where we're seeing some of those retail areas like the dollar store, our new Family Dollar Tree. We're having an economic impact on lower income families by providing those kind of entities inside of this community. One of the things that I looked at today talks about through our National Recreation and our Parks Associations states that if a person has to drive more than 20 miles for groceries or to meet their means, if they're in an impoverished state, they're likely to not be able to afford to do that. So if we can maintain that locally, we can actually retrieve that money to come back inside of the community. But what's essential to those individuals also is their quality of life. It does improve your economic impact. It improves quality of health, quality of the social importance side of their community. So there's a lot of key perspectives that I think that we're not only were we missing, but it enhances our neighborhoods. It enhances the quality that the people in our community perceive. Not only that, but the impact of the improvement on the neighborhoods. That's always important to us. So where we see that, we also see the improvements in the quality of the neighborhoods. And while I realize that we're talking about pool improvement, but there's some other things that we discussed in our meeting was that it's kind of time to give that a little bit of a boost and a revamp at that park. So that was one of the key areas that we felt like the reason why the pool park was important. But not to preface just these parks. I think that our next adventure is to do a lot more that we can do on the north side with the next year's budget as well. So anyhow, that's kind of I have information on it and just the things that it does expand upon, but just something to think about when we're thinking about our parks and what it means to our local community, especially for kids that don't have anything to do but to go to the parks. And this weekend, even for these areas, I went around and I looked as I was off doing some of my local shopping. I went and looked and just to see how busy the parks were on our nice day. There wasn't a single park in this town that didn't have somebody at it. So they were busy. And these are key areas that we should be focusing on for improvements for our residents. So that's my skill.
Does anybody know how long it's been since we did any updates at the swimming pool? I know those slides and fountains have been there for several years.
Nothing has been done since it was remodeled when they changed up the pool. And that's been at least 15 years and probably a little more than that. I don't know. Gilbert, do you remember what year that was?
I can't remember on the blueprints what it said, like 2006 or 7.
Yeah. So it's been a while.
It's been a while.
So
You don't have enough people just have.
So we put out for lifeguards. Now we're recruiting currently, so. Our HR manager has put some information at the high school, the schools in Hartley County, as well as gone to the Rawl Center and dropped off some stuff. We've done some stuff on Facebook, but she's gonna do a big tabling push. Go to the high schools, Frank Phillips. Talk to people. I also looked at what other cities were doing, and some other cities nationwide were kind of having like an open house day where, you know, you could recruit and people could come. So I think we're gonna have to do a mix of heavy recruitment, both here, there, meet the kids where they are. But we did change, and Gilbert, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. We changed our incentive package for lifeguards, so pay right now ranges from $12 to $14. We're also doing reimbursement for certifications, and then we're paying for uniforms. So we've really upped our incentives and what we're offering for lifeguards. And then I don't want to take away Gilbert's thunder because he's going to talk about parks in a minute, but you're also doing the new playground equipment at the swimming pool, and that was budgeted for. You're doing the splash pad project, which will start at the lake, and that will have playground equipment, and that was split up between grant funding and EDC, and Rotary Club collected some donations for that project. And then the 7th Street Park equipment, the revamp on that, and that was also budgeted for. So you have a lot of momentum for your park program right now.
Do you have pictures of them?
So I do have a few visuals. That's kind of a rough stuff. It's still, this is the dual. We didn't want to hand out a lot of information because we're still getting bids, but we felt the safest budget. That's the dual. Was between 55 and 65, and now it's right around 65.
I think if we decide to move forward with it for another $10,000, you're getting a lot better piece of equipment.
Yeah. That's kind of where we're headed with. That's kind of where we.
I don't think there's any point in doing this for
Right.
10,000 less when you can have that for. I know it's $10,000 we're talking about, but significant difference, yes.
So. Has capacity been updated, all that other stuff talking about, because obviously you're gonna have to hire. I'm sure, does someone have to go stand up there? Does that change capacity at all? And all that stuff?
Gilbert, I know you did some research. You want to talk a little bit about?
So our capacity actually is. Even though there's a number on there that says probably like 400 or 500.
The capacity now, after everything we ran into last year, was just kind of a lifeguard patron ratio. So if we have about 200 people in there, we're probably going to be pretty close to capacity with maybe eight lifeguards here. About time to get on rotation and everything. So that's what our capacity is going to. We just have to have the discretion to say, hey, we have so many lifeguards and we're gonna basically shut the pool doors. We don't want to get into overcrowding, and basically what happened the first day of being a free day, and we're not going to do free day this year. So we're just going to say, you want to come the first day, you're going to pay. We don't want to get back into that situation, and hopefully we get the guards this year to have a good year. So
Will you have to have somebody at the top of that slide to manage the kids, or?
at least at the bottom, somewhere on at that slide, we'll have to have somebody there. Because that slide that we're looking at right now, the double slide, it don't have a staircase. It's actually almost like a playground type that you kind of have to crawl through the little or 2 foot gaps that you kind of hop on staircase up there kind of with that. So talking about the slides, so.
They wear them out by the time they get home.
It's old people out of it.
I think so many people, I mean, obviously we need the lifeguards, but a lot of people, they go to neighboring towns because they have these slides and they have these nice swimming parks, and I feel like if we want to continue with our swimming pool, we're not going to need to step up and give people a reason to come here instead of going to Sunray or Canyon or another neighboring town.
Our pool wasn't designed for basically the teenagers, so we,
Exactly.
at a 4'6" pool, there's nothing for teenagers to do, so.
So with that, we really just need to appeal to the age range. And I think that's why the slide was our preference, because we're not appealing to older kids. We're appealing to like moms and dads who are bringing younger groups of kids there. And those are the kind of families that want something to do while they're there.
Exactly right. I mean, you get in there and if you're very tall at all, you can touch the bottom. You can't, I mean, it's swimming laps or you can't even tread water in there unless you're short like me. So, it's not very fun for the bigger kids.
But I know the question is, where's the money going to come from? So obviously we aren't budgeted for that. Is that correct?
This is not a budgeted item in the current budget. So the short answer is that it would come out of reserves. The longer answer is that when we close the books for the fiscal year and we look and see where we are with sales tax, we may not have to dip into reserves. As of March, what we received in sales tax, we were 15% up. So it will depend, and that's a risky answer, and I understand that. But today, I just don't have a stronger answer to say that for definite, we won't have to dip into reserves. So the answer right now would be the reserve money.
Any other questions or concerns?
I think it's just kind of important to note that we developed a good reserve because we neglected some of these things.
Absolutely.
And I don't mean that to come across negative, because I know we do what we've got to do, but I think that's why that's there. And I think that deferring things doesn't enhance our community, so. My point.
Just saying, last year we had staffing issues. It's hard to spend that kind of money on a facility and then you have to shut down 3 days of a week because you don't have people to staff it. It's just, to me, it seems like a wash. I know she's putting incentives out. It's a lot of money and you might not even have the people to staff it.
So the other thing that I say is not having anything to do in there for the bigger kids. I can't imagine that job is fun. Just basically watching kids. I don't know what kids do in that pool because there's not a lot. If you're very tall, you're not swimming. I mean, if you're not swimming, but you not having something to do will make your job a little more fun to watch those kids actually having something to do. That's the other thing. Maybe you have that incentive of, well, there's some fun slides in there. Maybe I would like to lifeguard somewhere where there's some fun things to do. I don't know. It's a risk that we're going to have to either take or not, but current state, it's not fun for these kids unless you're splash pad fun kids. So.
I'd like to see it budgeted for next year. and have it in the budget, see how the swimming pool works this year. If we can even staff it to be open full time. Put that much money into something. Does it make sense right now until we know it's gonna be right? I mean, I think it's a great idea. Don't get me wrong on this. It's big. But to spend that kind of money. And then be open 3 days a week, have maybe 50 kids in there because you only have 3 lifeguards that you can hire. I mean, that was our dilemma last year. It was,
Well,
we were shutting down so much last year.
it was a challenging year. And I've lived across the street from there for 19 years. And even last year, there's not a lot of people who go in there. If you drive by there, there's not a lot of people that go because the older kids are going to Dumas. And last year, people were going to Dumas, Sunrise, Canyon. I mean, if you can get into the one in Canyon.
Anybody being at the pool, if the splash pad is out there, be free to go play and.
If we don't add to this pool, possibly, yeah. Because, I mean, really and truly, the fun part of that pool is kind of like a splash pad. Am I wrong? I mean, it's not very deep.
You're trying to take it away basically from being a wading pool to a park, fun ride park.
Well, kind of. I mean, I don't know if anybody's been to some of these other towns around here. I made it a point to drive by the Dumas pool the other day. And this is not in any way, shape, or form going to be that big, but it adds some value to our pool.
And the other thing, just on top of talking about the value of it, think about what Gilbert's budget's been for how many years? He's had less than $15,000 for how many parks in this town? So when I talk about it being deferred and looking at that, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about that we have neglected to put any money into anything until recently.
Yes.
And these were budgeted, I get that, and this one's not a budgeted item. But I think it would be fair to say that that is why that money is in reserve. So when we do have things that we could enhance something to our community, and we also have to stop and think about, and this is a kid town, and we've got people in this town that can't afford to drive across town to go to the dollar store, much less. So we've got people that live in that area that are, flocking into one side of the community, and that's about all they can afford to do. So, I mean, I just think it makes sense when it comes to finding things that kids can do in this community. And I think that's one area that we could beef up. It's just the thoughts on that.
It's like going back to Brian's point here. I mean, I can see where he's coming from on pushing it to next year, budgeting it is a line item and then potentially going out for grants, and you could double from just a one feature deal. So maybe it's a double slide and some other, I'm not a water park guy, but another water feature.
Still with the space that we have. We have a very small area to contend to around that pool. So I think that's why, I mean, Gilbert can answer those questions better, but when it comes to, I think we're fairly limited in what we can and cannot do. So that's something else to consider. We don't have one of those big fancy tools where we can add tons of things to. We're pretty good.
Skate park.
How much is that gonna cost us?
If we decide to go through with this, how would we even have the slide for opening season? Is that a possibility?
The one that y'all are looking at, the double, they said that they should be able to get it pretty quick and probably within a week. So what they were thinking, if they would probably be able to get it, maybe in June sometime, shut down for a week, install it, and be ready to go.
The 1st of July.
Depending whenever all the paperwork get going and payment, and as soon as they get it, they said,
When it's hot.
we should be done. They should still have some time to use it.
So back to the space question we talked about earlier. Is there room for more stuff like that, or is setting up one feature like this, is that gonna kind of cap out effective space use?
Probably because the slide that we're gonna take out is on the very deepest part of the pool, I guess you could say. And taking out that slide, putting this one in, that's kind of where most of our areas at, because then you got what is basically the east, which is on Tennessee. There's not much sidewalk there to put much of anything. And same thing with the very back, which is, it's not a true south, but if you just look at it as north of the concession and then east and south and then west is where this big slide would go. So there's not a lot more room out there because everything to the north is all zero entryway. So there's not much room to put anything else out there.
Do you anticipate, obviously with the pay raise on the lifeguard, Gilbert, do you think this is going to make a difference as far as us getting lifeguards?
I hope so. I mean, we just never know. I tell everybody every year, we don't know what's gonna happen. It's just, usually I try to get about 13 guards and then a manager and an assistant, and I'm usually pretty good. Last year we had probably 11 to quit right off the bat before we even started. So we were in the hole right to begin with, so.
I think it's definitely a need. Again, we want something that's going to attract, our local kids are going to want to stay here instead of going to Sunray or Dumas and, oh yeah, while we're over there, we're going to eat dinner. I mean, if we could keep them here and you know, let them buy a meal here, that would help generate some revenue as well.
I would make a motion that we approve swimming pool equipment, including the slides.
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Got 2, 4, and
I'm against.
Let's see, yes. Okay.
got that one.
So is Parker, are you?
Against.
You need to show of hands.
You're opposed, right?
Item number 7, discuss peak ball table donation at Dalhart City Parks.
Okay, so I don't know if y'all have seen the teak tech ball tables. Samantha Lujan, project manager for LA Techers, got with Bryce here at the city, and they're wanting to donate a tech ball table. It's basically like a ping pong table that's curved. And it's got a fiberglass, instead of a net, it's got a fiberglass middle, whatever you want to call it. So, talking to Stacy, she said, let's see if we can get a table for each of basically our major parks on North Side, Kelly Hill, Swimming Pool, 7th Street, and now the Lake Center. Asked her for 5 tables to be donated, and they approved it. So they're going to give us $17,000, $17,500 worth of tech tables. The reason they're doing this, they're hoping to get these tech tables. There's 5 different games you can play on them. They want to get these into the Olympics by 2028. So you got basically you can play like a soccer on there. You can play tennis on there, ping pong, volleyball, and another one called quatch. I don't even know how to say it. Quatch. And so I got all the places to put these. We'll have to pour a 3x3 pad so we can anchor them to the ground. That won't be an issue. And we'll put these out here, and hopefully if we can get them in the right space, and they'll be able to, anybody can be able to use them for start learning these different games. They'll have a sticker that we can put on the tables, QR code, and it'll tell them all about the 5 different sports and the rules. So as soon as we get these going, we'll put it out there and
Well, I was fixing to ask if they had any explanation for us old people, but we ought to play it.
I think this is probably all just YouTube stuff.
Yeah.
We have it on YouTube and they'll show you all the different games.
Time-wise, what are we looking at?
He didn't give me timelines, so timeline. So I need to get with her and see when they're going to be able to send those out. And
That's exciting.
Did you act on it?
No, this was discussed.
Discuss on with, okay,
You look it up on the internet though.
I'm gonna.
It's crazy.
Let's see what a
I'm
squash
not
is.
near limber enough to play like that.
Well, thank you, Gilbert.
See ya.
Item number 8, discuss and or act upon updates on the transfer station.
So I just included the 2 updates that I received. One's dated March 6th and one's dated March 13th. From High Plains in your packet.
Any questions or concerns on the updates? Transfer station.
This second, please. I still think the I would like to get clarification on the last statement on the one that I read about the equipment. I don't have a clear understanding, definite understanding of who's liable for what are we supposed to follow up on that? Get extra funding for that equipment or whatever. That would have been on the,
So that deal was it wasn't solidified prior to. So that would have to be a larger conversation in terms of what the city's thought process is in opening the landfill up to county usage.
so that's where.
So that's where that
we're
is.
standing right now, full operation of the city by the city.
Yes.
Because, and then that means that we've got to pay for all of it.
Yeah, there was never any money involved. It was just for the piece of equipment.
Implied.
And then that was just it, that deal was not in writing.
So the city's responsible.
Yes.
And we'll take no outside trash.
Sorry.
Nobody else but the city occupancies can go into the landfill using a use of the transfer
Currently,
currently. And that would be negotiations in the future.
if council wanted to pursue that.
Thank you.
Is the trash being transferred to Emerald or where is that? Once it goes to the
We
transfer.
do it usually like monthly. It just depends on when we get real close. But they're trying to spread it out, so they do a trip monthly.
We have this complete. Where will we transfer out to?
Emerald.
Emerald, okay, that's what. Sure.
Mr. Mayor. In the future, the discussion about and topics that come up is on the operation of the transfer station. I would like some clarification on that in the future if we could. And it's just about numbers. And with the intent of using it and a discussion in a previous council about the trash blow away and all of that sort of thing. And there was just some questions that came up about that. What the proper utilization of the transfer station is going to be and the operation of it. I know that's obscure, but it's just sure question that came up.
Okay. Any other discussion on the transfer station? Item number 9, city council will convene into executive session under Texas Local Government Code 551 .072 for the deliberation of the Economic Development Corporation's purchase of city real property at 7:04 PM.
And Joe stayed.
City Council is reconvening from executive session at 7:47 PM. No action was taken. Item number 10, discuss and or act upon adopting resolution 2023-12. A resolution authorizing City of Dalhart representatives and matters pertaining to the sale of city property. Any discussion?
So do we need to make it with those stipulations on it that we discussed? Signature part or just, it's a yes or no?
Just a yes or no.
Just proceed. Okay, I make the motion to adopt resolution 2023-12.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Item number 11, discussion of future agenda items for city council.
Speed bump, Sarnia bump, Texas Street
Boulevard,
Boulevard.
not Red Street.
I live on a road. Mine's road.
Did you have something, Dwayne?
About the transfer station.
Oh, I don't know that there's any recourse to that, is it? I mean,
What I can tell you is the new assistant city manager is working on a bigger vision survey of the entire landfill and would like to come to council probably in about 6 to 8 weeks' time, just to talk about all of the components, really go over what that budget looks like, and then big picture, answer some questions about how often, what are some solutions, addressing some of that, what it would look like if you decided to open it up, that kind of thing. If that fell into that, that's on his scope of work.
yeah, but I do want to, with the presentation, not in the future discussion, not on the next one necessarily. I want to do an animal control review of the animal ordinances. You probably remember when we did that, or do you remember? Yeah, so we attempted it prior. We need to regroup because of what the individuals were addressing. Am I talking too much? No, what they were.
He rolled that right in there.
With the concerns of the group that's making the presentation. Okay.
Help me,
Dogs.
right,
Okay. With the request that we need to address, and we do need to address compliance of ownership and to put something into to hold owners responsible.
oh, okay.
So as an agenda item, do you want
We need to, we would,
Address.
the request would be to
Discuss it.
Just
review
the city
and amends
to? Okay.
the present complete animal ordinances. That's large and small in the whole 9 yards. Okay. And whatever's convenient in the future. Sir, you picking on me?
Well, the last time, oh, it's full.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we got a bit. So. Okay.
Anything else, future agenda items? Item number 12, comments from city manager and department heads.
I'm the only one here, so. We have an EDC meeting tomorrow night, we call this a special meeting, to look at some stuff going on at the industrial park. And then also next Tuesday at lunch, we have an airport board meeting at the airport. So, and then just to let you know, in the month of April, I've gone several times to different trainings. And one of some trainings as well. Just one of them that kind of interesting. I was able to make it surprise when I go is he's going to attend a training or a workshop to basically see if we can become a film friendly community.
What?
So
Oh, what?
maybe we can get movie stars here, right?
Film friendly.
They said Phil.
We already got Drew Barrymore here and I kind of look like John Wayne, I think.
I think you need to look in the mirror.
We're good now. Okay, let's get this done.
Then we also have upcoming CPR classes for staff and council on April 21st and 28th. If anyone is interested, we're offering certification The class is from 12 to 2. So, we have that. Unfortunately, Corbin had to leave on a call, but he is the new assistant city manager, taking over, public works.
Did you want to make comments about 10:02? Not like, you said you'd not do that.
No, we have adjusted to fall into line. We've corrected it. So it matches the map that y'all saw. So there was a standard order in place. It's been lifted and so all the work matches the map. And then we also have the TML dinner in Amarillo on April 20th. If you are interested in going, please let Wendy know.
Who's the host?
Canadian.
Canadian.
They may be wrong. What is that?
They bring their own food in and stuff.
I can tell you when we're not on TV.
Yes, I have. Yes, I have. That's a good thing.
Anything else?
Okay.
Motion we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed?
You only get to do that a few more times.
Wait till the last one.